welcome back to the channel. It's Pink Lavender Crochet and it's Jo here. So I hope you're all doing well today, and if you're new to the channel then a very warm welcome, and if you're returning then welcome back. It's good to have you. So today I've got a tutorial for you, and we're going to be making an African flower with 8 petals. Now I'll be honest with you, I've never made one of these before. This is my first time making the African flower. I have done lots of granny square things in the past, but I've never actually done it with an African flower. So I thought, well, why not do it with all of you and see if we can do it together. So for this project, you're going to need a few, well, I've got 3 different colours of yarn. I've got this creamy beige, I've got the pale pink, and I've also got a pastel lilac. I'm using all DK weight yarn, but you can use any weight yarn you want to, as long as the hook that you're using is suitable for that weight of yarn. So I'm going to be using a 4mm crochet hook today. So let's get started. So the pattern asks us to make a magic ring to begin with. So we shall do that. You should all know how to make a magic ring if you've seen my previous videos, but if not, I do have a video on that and I'll link it somewhere up here. Just do a chain 1 to secure that ring. And then it's asking us to do 8 single crochets into the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we need to tighten our ring up. Nice and tight. We want that circle to be closed really tightly as we can get it anyway. There we go. So it should look something like that. And I'm just going to make this tail a little bit shorter because then it's less for me to weave in. Otherwise it's there dangling and it will drive me mad. So the pattern then says it wants us to do a slip stitch into the first single crochet. So you might need to manipulate your work a little bit just so you can see where that single crochet is. Oops, there it is. So I'm going to take that . And then get that hook under there. Okay, and then slip stitch. Okie dokie. So next, the pattern says to chain 3. And it wants us to do a double crochet in the same space. So if you just do a little slight tug on that chain 3 that you've just done, it lifts up that space where you need to go to make it easier for you to see it. So that's the 2 double crochets. Then it wants you to chain 1. And then it wants you to do 2 double crochets in the next space, in the next single crochet along. And then chain 1, and then we're going to repeat that same process all the way around. So it's going to be 2 double crochets, chain 1 in the same stitch. So if you want to carry on following that pattern, and I'll meet you back when we get to here. So now we're going to join with our next colour. I'm going in with the pink, and it says to join, you can join in any of the chain 1 spaces, but preferably not the one where you've just finished the last round. So I'm going to go over the other side and join the pink with a slip stitch. And then chain 3. And then the pattern says to do a double crochet in the same space. And then chain 1. And then another 2 double crochets in the same space. And then it says to skip the next 2 stitches. So these double crochets from the previous round, skip them 2 and go in this next space here. Oops. I'm going to try and feed that yarn round as I go. So it's a double crochet, double crochet, chain 1, same 2 double crochets in the same space again, and then we're going to skip the next 2 stitches and go in this space here, and we're just going to repeat what we've done. So it's 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets all in the same space. And if you want to carry on with that, and I'll meet you back when we've finished that part of the pattern. So at the end of that round, this is what it should look like. And now I'm going to join into the top chain of the previous, well, where we started. So just go in with a slip stitch. And now we're on to round 4, and it's asking us to chain 3. And then it wants us to do 6 double crochets into the same space. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just unravel the yarn a little bit because it's all getting a bit tangled. Oh, the joys. Right, and then it's asking us to skip the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then it wants us to do 7 double crochet in this chain 1 space. So we'll go here. Just in the space, you don't need to go into the stitch, you can just go into the space. So that's 1, 2, 3, oops, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and that's going to be our pattern. So we're going to skip the next 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in that chain space do 7 double crochets. If you can see that one there. So I'll just continue with this and let you loose on that, and I will meet you back here when we get to the beginning. So next we need to change colour, and I'm going to go with the lilac. And it says to join with a slip stitch into the 4th double crochet of any petal. So these are the petals in the row that we've just done. And that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I'm going to go in there and join with the slip stitch. Chain 1. And then it says to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So that's 1, 2 and 3. Then it wants us to do a spike stitch into the space between the petals of round 3. So round 3, this is round 5, 4 and 3, so in between the petals, so it's going to be in here. And to do a spike stitch, it's basically just a single crochet but elongated. So you're going to pull the yarn up to the same height, pull through your loop, pull through 2. And then it wants us to do 7 single crochets into the next 7 stitches. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And then we're going to do another spike stitch, but we're going to do a longer one this time. So it wants us to go into this space here. So we're just going to go in and pull up that yarn so it's the same height. Pull up a loop, pull through 2. There we are. And then we're going to do 7 single crochets again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And then it wants us to do another spike stitch, but we're doing a short one like we did here the first time we did it. So into that space there between the 4 double crochets. Pull that loop up. And then 7 single crochets again. Oops, take that tail with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then we're going to do a long spike stitch again. So that's going into this space here, pulling that yarn up, and then we're just going to repeat that all the way around. So it'll be 7 single crochets and then doing a short spike stitch into here, and then 7 single crochets and then a long spike stitch. So if you want to carry on with that, and I'll meet you back at the beginning. So at the end of that round, you should have finished making 3 single crochets, and then we're going to slip stitch into where we're slipping stitching at the top of just into that first slip stitch that we made. And then we can cut off our yarn, and that's the flower finished. So I hope yours is looking lovely. And then what we will do in the next tutorial is turn this flower into a square, so that you've got a nice granny square. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you liked it, then please subscribe, and I will see you back for the next video. Okay, see you now. Bye.